But with strand upon strand of lights plugged into every available outlet, hung on drying out trees, there are real dangers for holiday-related fires right now, at least in some homes. Carolee McGrath brought in veteran firefighter Willie Spears. He's a fire inspector and safety educator for the Springfield Fire Department. He also brings a life-saving reminder about the danger of carbon monoxide poisoning during the heating season.
Carbon monoxide in the home, they can be very dangerous. It is a poison. It's silent. It can kill. So when we actually go into the home, we use a meter that detects how high the levels are. Now the meter, of course, is going to tell us that at 100 parts per million, if that's the level in the home, it's very dangerous. Everyone has to get out. Carbon monoxide detectors that you put in your home, they actually start beeping at 30 parts per million. So that tells the folks, hey, listen, the levels are getting high. Now's the time to act, to get out of the home. So when folks, detectors go off, don't just automatically think that maybe the batteries are dead or maybe something's wrong with it.
Right?
Call the fire department, call 911. We'll come and we'll determine whether or not you actually have a leak or some sort of issue in your home.
How often are you called out and, or how, when you go to different calls for other reasons, or you talk to people and you realize they don't have carbon monoxide detectors?
Often. And one thing that we're finding is that from time to time, people do not have carbon monoxide detectors in their home,
right,
or the batteries are taken out and they're inoperable. And that's very dangerous. And you and I both know that recently there was a tragic death on the other side of the state where in the home there was no carbon monoxide detectors, the furnace was leaking, and we lost the life of a father and a son. And we certainly don't want that to happen to anyone. So take it seriously when we say that you should have carbon monoxide detectors in your home. They will save your life. They will help you to determine whether or not something is really going on in your home. So please, if you don't have them in your home, get them.
And how many should you have? Should you have one on each floor?
Yes. The way it's written for us and the way that we suggest people is to have them on every habitable floor. What we mean by that is if you spend a lot of time in certain parts of the area of your house, whether it's sleeping or family time, have a carbon monoxide detector there. For example, if you have a furnished basement and the family spends a lot of time there, have a carbon monoxide detector there. If you have a new furnace, it's the law now that they put a carbon monoxide detector near the furnace itself. Also, on the first floor, have a carbon monoxide detector. Where you sleep, at least have one within 10 feet of the bedroom doors. That way, if it goes off, everybody can hear it.
And is the biggest offender the furnace in most cases?
Yes. There are other factors as well. For example, in the tragic deaths that we had recently, the furnace was leaking, and that set off the carbon monoxide that set off the issue as far as what, that was the issue.
Right.
When the firefighters showed up and they used their meter, the levels were up over 400 parts per million, which was very, very high. So we tell folks that when it comes to carbon monoxide detectors, make sure you have them in your home.
So during power outages, a lot of people now use generators. I remember the generators selling like crazy after the October storm and the tornado. What kinds of problems can that cause?
Well, generators are definitely a very good backup to a power source for your home when it comes to losing power. But the issue is you got to be very careful as to where you place the generator, especially if you're using it for heat or to a power source in your home. One of the biggest issues, of course, if it's a gas generator, is that it does emit carbon monoxide. And several years ago, we had a tragic event where a family decided to take the generator and put it in its home, just inside the porch, of course, fire it up to heat up the home, to use cords to heat up the home. And of course, it generates carbon monoxide. And tragically, there was a couple of deaths in that home. So when it comes to those, please do not use generators in your home, gas generators. If you decide to use it, keep it outside the home. And once you decide to put it in a certain place, make sure that the exhaust is pointing away from the home. Because sometimes what folks would do is they'll take the generator, they'll situate it so that they can get the cord inside the window or inside the opening of the home, but forget that the actual exhaust pipe itself is facing that way, and just a little crack or just given a little room, the CO can actually go into the home, and that can cause a serious action or a serious issue as well. So make sure that when it comes to generators, be safe, keep them outside the home, point the exhaust, thank you, away from the home so that it dissipates and doesn't get into the home.
Okay, great advice, thank you.